Um, Picking up with this convict leasing, it is Monday and it's 9 p.m. and trying to give some people time to see that we're on. And I'm not going to take long, so I will make shorts of this video to get this information out. But I do try to wait to get a few people on live. I won't be on long. I try not to stay on longer than 15 to 20 minutes. But the first time I noticed this initiative by President Trump, well, let me clarify. Everybody doesn't necessarily know. Donald Trump has presented a very old policy of convict leasing, to use convicts for making money. Now, he's not saying that it's going to make money. He's proposing, the current president, Donald Trump, is proposing to take prisoners from America and pay a Caribbean country or a South American country to take our prisoners. This is no different when the contraband were prisoners of war and Abraham Lincoln was willing to pay colonies or countries in the Southern Hemisphere to take Americans. Last video, we talked about how many amendments this policy violates. You cannot relocate Americans out of the United States. There is no constitutional amendment, or nor is it in the Constitution, that says if you go to prison, you are no longer a United States citizen. So if you, as Donald Trump has said he is in favor of, intend to ship American citizens out of the country, number one, that is inconsistent with equal protection under the law, which is the 14th Amendment. Number two, that is cruel and unusual punishment. Number three, that's double jeopardy. And we went through the other amendments that are violated. What I wanted to touch on now is, before I showed how convict leasing has been done against black people in Reconstruction in 1863, immediately after slavery. What Donald Trump is doing now has also been done to white people. And I always want to give you the sources. This is Reconstruction by Eric Foner. And it says on page 519, Politics of Depression, perhaps even more indicative of new tendencies in Northern public life was the proliferation of vagrancy laws designed to combat the menace throughout what was to be proposed by tramps. Although intended more to clear towns of beggars than establish a system of quasi-free labor by making unemployment a crime, the laws bore more than the passing resemblance of the Southern Black Codes in 1865 and 1866. Now, he's saying it has a resemblance, which means this is not what's being done to black people. This is what's being done to white people. Indiana even directed that those who refused employment be put to work on city streets and leased out convicts to a manufacturer of railroad cars. Such policies illustrated how free labor principles seem to have crumbled in the Depression's wake. So now this is Indiana. I'm from Indiana. That's my home state. Indiana has never been a primarily black state. So when whites are not alarmed when they hear convict leasing, that is historically a problem, because convict leasing has been used against whites. Anytime labor is being suppressed and the price goes down, that is usually some type of economic move. Historically, every time convict leasing has occurred, it hits black people first, it hits Latinos second, white males are going to be third. Just like with the war on drugs, when they let all those drugs come into the country, it hit the black community first, it hit the Latino community, and then ultimately it came to hit the white community where it is now. So we have to be cognizant of what this means for everybody if Donald Trump begins sending American citizens out of the country against their rights as United States citizens. Ask yourself, why? Why would any nation want the prisoners of another nation? What functionality does it have for the United States to take people out of our jails and put them in someone else's jails and pay them for it? There is no logic in that. There's no upside to it. That's not increasing safety in the United States. What is it doing? So we look at, when has this happened before in the United States? Have the United States taken citizens and sent them somewhere else? Yes. Have they tried to? Yes. What was the point? It was economic. I dare say, I can almost guarantee that some of those billionaires that was at the inauguration have invested in El Salvadorian prisons. I would not be surprised, because El Salvador is obviously running the same economic system the United States did in the 80s and 90s, where we locked up a large number of our citizens and made them work for almost nothing. And what we're seeing that happen in Reconstruction to black people and white people was that when the cost of labor is pushed down so far and people don't want to take those jobs, that the government moves in to criminalize them and forces them to work. That's just history. So I am seeing some more sophisticated podcasts catch this, but broadly, I'm not seeing Americans catching on to somebody saying, we're going to take American citizens. Who's doing the choosing? Because when the war on drugs happened, they chose which communities they were going to police. See, I had a student in one of my classes to say, well, the people must be doing wrong. They're not arresting them for nothing. If I police this area differently, I'm going to arrest who I want to arrest. I can warn these people. I can arrest these people. So who's going to choose these people that Trump wants to take out of the country? And what is their qualification? Well, their qualification is that he's saying the most violent. Okay, Under what circumstance were they violent? That's number one. If um, most of the people that were locked up during the war on drugs were nonviolent people. So are these new adjudications? Why is that the top issue? Why is that an issue that is being brought up right now? I think it's going to have to be a greater sense of urgency in responding to this, because Trump has done something that is very new, and he's going to be remembered in history because of this. From the days of Cornelius Vanderbilt, J.P. Morgan, John D. Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, billionaires, the people who really finance the country, have never been known. Think about it. Do you know what a person from the DuPont family looks like? Do you know what someone from the Walmart family looks like? We don't. Donald Trump was the first person of that elite class that said the control and the power is not enough. I want the recognition and admiration of the poor people. I want them to know who I am. And it has begun a movement that is now leading to other billionaires, that they want public notoriety. They want governmental recognition. And in a way, it's good. It is showing how our country works beyond the charade. Our country functions on hypocrisy. It just has. I'm a historian. This is what I teach. I'm not trying to talk bad about the country. It just is what it is. It's my job to teach it. It's my job to just tell the facts as they are. This country functions on hypocrisy. It functions on the hypocrisy of democracy, is to make you appear as though you have a say-so when you really don't. We know that the smartest and brightest people in our country was not Kamala Harris and it was not Donald Trump. But they give you these two people like you have a choice. And those aren't the brightest people that we have. Joe Biden was definitely not the brightest person that we had. So this is really odd to see the people who are really the power brokers in the country wanting to take the jobs. Those people don't have jobs. They're owners. They provide jobs. So we're seeing something new in American politics and reality. And as a person who lived through the war on drugs, I saw it begin. The next time what I'm going to try to do for tomorrow when I go live is I want to actually show Donald Trump talking about this convict leasing and what he wants to do. Please like and subscribe. Join the channel. I don't do memberships. Everything is free. You don't have to. The channel is not monetized. This is just history information, and what I do is I connect history with what's going on today. Everything that I say, you can look up, and I want you to be more aware of what's going on. And as much as I don't play politics, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Green Party, I'm not a liberal, independent. I'm an independent thinker. I do not vote. I will never vote. So anything that I'm telling you has no bearing on any party. I don't belong to any party. I don't subscribe to politics. What I am saying is, I know the history of this country's economy, and I know that there are three modes of production: land, labor, capital. Labor are the people. And when they're talking about shipping people out or grouping people in a group, and something else is funny. Every time America is about to abuse a group of the labor force, they change what they call them. They call Native Americans savages. They call black people subhuman, amongst other things. They had names for Asian people. They had names for Mexican people. It's always some name they call them. And when Donald Trump started calling the prisoners animals, and when he began using a worst case scenario of one criminal that pushed somebody in front of a train, that was reminiscent of the Willie Horton campaign strategy. Look up that Willie Horton campaign strategy. How they took this one black person and put his face in this George Bush, Michael Dukakis campaign. And that black face scared white Americans to the point that they moved away from Dukakis and went toward Bush. And that was subsequent to Ronald Reagan doing the same thing with a welfare queen. They took a black lady. This black lady abused welfare. And they know that if they put this face on this campaign, the reactions historically whites have had. And that is no different than what Donald Trump is doing with this person that pushed somebody in front of a train. Now, that's not what most of the people in prison are there for. But the thing is, it's not color coded. Now, they may send black people because black people are generally, since 1865, the people who are disproportionately sent. Actually have a citation of that in this book, but I'm not going to go to it because I'm almost done. But he's talking about non-black people. The person who pushed somebody in front of that train was not a black person. But whites seem to be so caught in this Democrat-Republican game, this conservative versus liberal game, that they're missing the economics behind it. They get James Baldwin said the largest slaveocracy are poor whites. The trouble is they don't know it. So I am going to actually try to get that video and figure. I am not technologically savvy, but I'm going to actually try to show the video. And I want to keep abreast of this topic. The rest of the stuff they're doing, I really don't care about. It's not going to necessarily affect me. But this is something I want you guys to be aware of. I want you to think about it. So again, subscribe to the channel, like the videos. I'm going to definitely get these edited and out soon. And I will be going live tomorrow at 9 p.m., Wednesday at 9 p.m., Thursday at 9 p.m. So we will do history and politics Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m.